I've been made redundant from my last 5 full-time jobs. I haven't resigned from a job in so long, I've forgotten what it's like. Now, for some other people, that might seem really strange. It might seem like something that they should be ashamed of. But I'm not. I'm proud of it. It's kind of the point of why I've brought into a business. I'm brought into it to change it, to set them up, to give them the tools that they need to go forward. And if I do my job correctly, if I do my job effectively, then they don't need me going forward. I've given them the tools to change. And that's what I do with people. That's why I do these videos. I want to give you some of the tools that you can then take into your own life to redesign your lives, to take active steps towards re-entering your life and creating the life that you want to live. And that's not easy. In fact, sometimes it's really uncomfortable. But you have to lean into that. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because if you're not, then growth and change won't happen. You become too comfortable. You become set in your ways. You take the easy path. And then when you look back on your life later, you will realize that you weren't the one in control. You gave over your life to autopilot. You gave over your life to algorithms or to other people's scripts and beliefs, and then let them run your life. And I want you to make that change now, to take control over your life and to be the active designer of your life, so that when you do look back at it, you're proud of what you've done. You're proud of that transformation. You're proud of that change. Having been made redundant so much gives me an extra perspective on the things that really matter in my life. And I wanted to take you through 3 key learnings that I've developed as a result of this experience that I wanted to share with you, in the hope that they can help you on your journey to redesign your life. And the first one of these is that comfort is often stagnation in disguise. Like I said before, we become very used to the way things are. We excuse ourselves for not pushing forward, for not changing, for not transforming. And that becomes a problem because we are stagnating. We confuse movement with momentum, which is something I've spoken about in another video. Of course, we keep moving. Of course, things are happening to us. We have experiences. We go through our days. But we're not building any momentum in terms of our life. It is stagnation. We're just sitting there. And often it's because we're too afraid to make that change. We're worried about what will happen when we do. And I'm not here to tell you that things are going to be far easier when you approach it, far easier when you try and make this change, because often it's hard. Often you'll find yourself pushing against society, pushing against your own beliefs, pushing against those practices that have allowed you to become comfortable, that have allowed you to stagnate. And that's not easy. But if you keep pushing through that discomfort, you will come out the other side. Things will change, things will transform. And slowly but surely, you will build the momentum that makes you feel like you are taking back control of your life. You will have a much deeper sense of presence, of connection, and of purpose. And you will start creating and building something that you're really proud of. Something that you look back on and actually feel each and every day. But something you will look back on and be really proud of. The second thing I learned is that you are not your job. Your job is not your identity. I've spoken in another video about how we all too easily confuse the who we are and the what we do in our lives. And because the what we do is so common, it happens every single day. What we do, we go to our work, our jobs. We mistakenly think that that becomes who we are. And they're not, they're different. So really start to own that. When you're in conversations with people, try to avoid talking about your job for a little bit longer in the conversation. Talk about yourself, talk about who you are, talk about what you like to do. An interesting trick I sometimes use is when people ask me what I do, is I won't give a direct job title, I won't give a specific description. I'll talk around the concept. help transform people or help transform brands. I'll talk around it, make big changes in people's lives, because that will start a conversation rather than giving people a really blocked off, really definable job title that then starts to become your identity. So try that technique, but hold true in that belief that you are not your job, you are you. The third thing I've learned is that transformation is rarely voluntary. You have to be active. You have to take active steps towards changing your life if you want to transform it. Now, sometimes change can happen, and sometimes obviously forces can impact us from outside of our control. But if you want to transform, if you want to grow, it requires input from you. It requires you being active. This is one of the key things I've learned in all of those roles that I was made redundant in. Transformation is difficult. It requires people to come in and agitate, to push, to ask questions, to reshape, to help everyone else, to help you to grow, to mold, to build something new. And that's okay, that's wonderful. It is a process. But if you want to change your life, if you want to transform your life, you can't sit back, because it won't happen unless you actively step into your life, unless you actively make the choice to make that change happen. Because yes, transformation is rarely voluntary. You need to be active and take that first step. It's important to remember, even if you feel like you're broken, even if you feel like you're failing, you're okay. Each crack, each setback, each defeat is actually an opportunity to learn. It's actually an opportunity to grow. It's a lesson. And it's up to you to be active, to make the choice to hear that lesson, and then to move forward with your life and implement those changes. So just know that it's okay. Go out there and own creating the life that you want to live. You will never be sorry if you make that decision. Thank you very much for listening today, and I'll see you again next time.